Hi friends, myself Subrata Mukherjee and you are watching my channel Dr. Subrata Mukherjee Distance Learning in Commerce. Today I am going to discuss another problem on portfolio management. This is lecture number 6 and you can watch the other lectures in the playlist section of the channel under portfolio management. An investor estimates a return on shares in two different companies under four different scenarios as under. So we have scenario 1, 2, 3, and 4 and probability zero point 0.2, zero point 0.3, zero point 0.4 and zero point 0.1. Return of security G is 12% in scenario 1, 15% in scenario 2, 19 and 25% in scenario 3 and 4. And the return of security H is 10%, 20%, 25% and 30% under four different scenarios. Ascertain the expected rate of return if the investor invests all his funds in security G alone or in security H alone. Determine the preferred security based on return. Ascertain the risk associated with each of the security. If the investor invests 40% in security G and 60% in security H, what is the expected return and the associated risk? So before I start the solution, let me explain the question and what we are supposed to calculate. So in question A, we need to find out what is the expected rate of return if the entire amount is invested in security G. Expected return means the average return. That is return of G, average return, so is equal to probability summation of probability and RG. So this is PR, that is the probability is given. This is the return of G and this is the return of H. So first of all, we need to calculate PR and RG. So we need to compute this parameter in order to find out the expected return of security G. And in order to find out the expected return of security H, we will calculate probability multiply with return of H. Summation will give you the expected return of security H. So RH is equal to summation of PR and RH. So this is another parameter that is supposed to be calculated. And what is determine the preferred security based on return? We will find out the expected return of security G and expected return of security H. Whichever will be higher will be the preferred security. In question C, part C, we need to find out sigma G, that is the risk. Risk means what is the risk associated with the security G. So we are supposed to calculate the standard deviation of security G or RG. That is the standard deviation is denoted by sigma. That is the standard deviation. We need to calculate standard deviation. And how to compute the standard deviation of security G? This is under root summation PR RG square minus summation PR RG whole square. So for calculating the expected return of the security G, we have already computed PR and RG in this case. So the other parameter you need to calculate is probability multiplied with RG square. So the another parameter you need to calculate is probability and RG square. So you need to calculate this factor. And the risk associated with the security H. So in order to calculate the standard deviation of security H, you need to calculate summation PR RH square minus summation PR RH whole square. Now, in question D, if 40% of the fund is invested in security G and 60% is invested in security H, then what is the expected return? That is the combined return. So the expected return in that case will give you zero point 0.4 multiply with RG bar plus zero point 0.6 into the expected return of security H. So RG bar is basically the return, the expected return of security G, and RH bar is the expected return of security H. And how to compute the combined risk? So in order to find out the combined risk, you need to use a formula. So combined risk, here I am writing for your understanding, and then while doing the solution, we will calculate. So combined standard deviation of GH is equal to under root of sigma G square and weight of G plus sigma H square into weight of H square plus 2 sigma G weight of G sigma H weight of H and the correlation coefficient of GH. So we will calculate the standard deviation of security G. So we'll calculate the square of it, and the weight of G is 0.4 and weight of H, that is the amount that is invested in security H, is 0.6. And we will need to calculate here the correlation coefficient of the two security. This is question to part D. Now let us proceed with the solution. I have explained here what are the different constituents that we are going to calculate in solving this question. So here I am writing the scenario 1, 2, 3, and 4. Then the probability or PR is given as 0.20, 0.30, 0.40, and 0.10. Return of G is given in percentage, security G, which is 12, 15, 19, and 25. And return of H is also given in percentage, which is 10, 20, 25, and 35. Now, the different parameters that we are going to calculate to get the values for question A, B, C, and D. So the first, we need to calculate probability multiplied with return of G in order to find out the expected return of security G. So you will get here 2.40, 15 multiplied with 0.3 is 4.50, then 19 multiplied with 0.4 is 7.60, 25 multiplied with 0.10 is 2.50. So if you add up this 4, you will get 17. Then PR multiply with return of H. So 10 multiplied with 0.2 is 2. 20 multiplied with 0.3 is 6. Then 25 multiplied with 0.4 is 10. 35 multiplied with 0.1 is 3.50. So if you add up this 4, you will get 21.50. So in part A, it is we are supposed to calculate the expected return. So expected return of security H, or first you need to calculate the expected return of security G is 17%, and the expected return of security H is 21.50%. So based upon the return of these two security, the preferred security is security H, because if it gives you better return, that is 21.50 in comparison to 17% of security G. Now we are going to calculate the standard deviation, that is the risk of security G and security H. So you are supposed to calculate the risk of security G is equal to standard deviation of security G, and for this purpose you have to calculate probability multiply with return of G square minus probability, or this is summation. I'm writing here the summation PR RG whole square. So PR multiply with RG we have already calculated at 17%. Now we have to calculate PR multiplied with RG square. So PR multiplied with RG square, and to calculate the standard deviation of security H, you are supposed to calculate probability and RH square. So I am going to calculate simultaneously. So 12 square multiplied with 0.2, you will get 28.80. That is 144 multiplied with 0.2. Then 15 square is 225 multiplied with 0.3 is 67.50. If you multiply 19 square with 0.4, you will get 144.40. 25 square with 0.1 is 62.50. And sum total of these four, you will get 303.20. Now we are calculating the probability with RH square. So RH is 10. 10 square is 100. Multiply with 0.2, you will get 20. Then 20 square multiply with 0.3, you will get 120. Then 25 square multiply with 0.4 is 250. And 35 square multiply with 0.1 is 122.50. So if you add up this 4, you will get 512.50. So in order to calculate the standard deviation of security G, you just put the values here. So 303.20 minus 17 square. So 303.20 minus 289, you will get 14.20 or 3.77%. So standard deviation of security G is 3.77%. And the risk of security H, that is the standard deviation of H or sigma H, is equal to summation PR RH square minus summation PR RH whole square. So here 512.50 minus 21.50 square. So you will get 512.50, 462.25. So under root 50.25 is 7.09%. So standard risk of security H or standard deviation of security H is 7.09. Now we have to calculate the expected return of the portfolio where the weight, that is the 0.4% or 40% is invested in security G and 60% is invested in security H. So the combined expected return, or this is basically the combined mean we are going to calculate, or expected return of the portfolio. So you need to just write expected return of the portfolio. So this is the return or the expected return of the G, that is RG bar multiplied with weight of G plus expected return of H, that is RH bar, multiplied with weight of H. So this is 17 multiplied with 0.40 plus 21.50 multiplied with zero point 0.6. So you will get 6.80 plus 12.90 is 19.70%. So the expected return of the portfolio, that is the combined mean, is 19.70. Now the last part we are going to calculate, that is the combined risk. Combined risk is basically the standard deviation, that is the sigma GH. So I have already written you the formula here, that is sigma G square into multiply with WG square plus sigma H square multiply with WH square plus 2 sigma G WG sigma H WH multiply with correlation coefficient of GH. So you know all the factors here except the correlation coefficient RGH. So we are supposed to calculate first the correlation coefficient of RGH. Correlation coefficient RGH is equal to summation PR multiply with RG RH minus probability PR RG multiply with PR RH divided by sigma G and sigma H. So we have already calculated sigma G at 3.77. Sigma H is 7.09. PR into RG we have calculated at 17%. PR into RH we have calculated at 21.5%. So the factor PR multiplied with RG and RH you need to calculate. So again in this table I am calculating PR multiplied with RG and RH. So you just multiply the first three items. 0.2 multiply with 12 and then you multiply with 10. So 12 10 120 multiply with 0.2 is 24. 15 multiply with 20, then you multiply with 0.3, you will get 90. Then 0.4 multiply with 19 and 25, you will get 190. 0.1 multiply with 25 and 35, you will get 87.50. And sum total of this four items is 391.50. Now I am going to put these values in order to calculate RGH. So this is equal to 391.50 minus 17 and multiply with 21.5 divided by 3.77 and 7.09. So you will get 0.973. Now we are going to calculate sigma GH. So you just write the values in this equation. So sigma G square is 3.77 square multiply with 0.4 square, then 7.09 square multiply with 0.6 square plus 2 into 3.77 multiply with 0.40 multiply with 7.09 multiply with 0.60, then you multiply with the correlation coefficient 0.973 and you will get 2.27 plus 18.09 plus 12.48 under root, and the combined risk is 32.84 under root is 5.73%. So we have completed the solution, and I expect all of You have written the question with solution in your notebook. If you find any difficulty in understanding, feel free to communicate with me through email and the WhatsApp number given in the description box. Thank you. Thanks for watching the lecture.